¿Qué pasa, mi gente? Welcome to another video. So today we're going to talk about how you can make content if you hate being on camera. Let's get into it. So if the idea of talking on camera makes you cringe or makes you want to disappear, or you just basically know you need to make content to grow your business, this video is for you. Because I work with a lot of clients that basically tell me this at the beginning of our contract and literally telling me like, oh, Pedro, like I'm so freaking scared of the camera, this, that, and whatever. Like I hate being on camera and being put on the spot, this, that, and whatever. And anyway, if you hate, or if you say that like that experience is very similar to yours, especially when you think about making content, I'm going to show you how you can make great content, build trust, and essentially get leads for your business or for your personal brand overall, even if you hate being on camera. So the structure that we're going to go through this video, so you might want to buckle up and write some notes, okay? I want you to think the following 4 things. Essentially, you don't have a camera problem, you have a safety and identity problem. We're going to talk about that. Number 2, I want to give you 8 content formats or frameworks that don't necessarily require video that you can do on a consistent basis every single day. Number 3, how to softly ease into video if you're taking into consideration that I can get on video, I just need to practice on how to show up on video. And number 4, a simple 30-day plan that you can use to make faceless content for shy creators. But before we get into all of that, I want to say, if you like the video so far, please like the video and subscribe to the channel because I literally put out videos every single day about content planning, content strategy, literally social media marketing, filmography, cinematography, all the works for you or your business so you can make money online. And if any of that sounds interesting, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. And like the video. Now, let's get back into the video. So, I'm going to be honest. You do not have to be a talking head just like this, okay? You do not have to be a talking head. There are massive channels that are literally voiceover only, that are screen recordings, that are B-roll and text, and they're animated explainers, okay? Being on camera is essentially a tool. It is not a requirement, okay? What it actually means is that, or I guess what actually matters more so than anything else besides being on camera, is essentially the clarity of the message, the consistency, and the value and retention of people watching your stuff. And I want you just to think at your company, your team, yourself, literally anytime when you're around any of those 3 environments, I want you to literally ask yourself the questions like, how do I share my story in a way that feels safe and solves a real problem? Okay? And from there, you'll literally get your answer. It can essentially be a multitude of different situations that you could be answering for yourself, but I'm not going to answer those for you because obviously everybody's situation is different, but you literally will come up with the answer very quickly. Like it could be hiring somebody, it could be animating, which we'll literally talk about later, and a bunch of other stuff that you can do. But having that taken into consideration, we're going to go into the next topic, which is essentially 8 ways to make content without showing your flippin' face, which is literally probably the main thing that people came to this video for. Anyway, the first one is essentially screen recording or making tutorials. This is essentially perfect for educators, people who want to talk about software, marketing, analytics, editing, anything that involves like a CRM. Literally, if you're watching this and you're a content creator and don't know what I'm talking about, it's literally anything that follows education. Okay, an example would be like a Loom style breakdown, or watch me build a landing page, or here's how I structure a content calendar. And you don't even have to be on camera. You can literally just be a voice. And it'd be really simple for you, right? All right, cool. That's number 1. Number 2, essentially B-roll and voiceover. So this is essentially for people who like storytelling, who like motivational content, who like case studies and client stories, right? You've probably seen a bunch of them like Motiversity, which is a really great example for motivational content. You essentially show your city, your desk, your workflow, your coffee shop, your gym, inspiring people, essentially using footage of your business, if you're using your business overall as the fulcrum, the pivot point, if that makes sense, or stuff that you film on your own accord, or finding literally footage that you can find online, like on YouTube, and just essentially make a different version of that type of content, right? And what you would say is that you would literally narrate lessons, you would narrate frameworks, or you would narrate stories. Very simple, like a comic book explainers content channel would be a really great example of that, where they just basically talk about like, oh, this is what happened with the Superior Spider-Man. Is literally what I've been watching recently. And you can literally repurpose your talking points, but just put them over footage instead of your face. It's super simple. Now, number 3, essentially slides, whiteboard, or a Notion POV, okay? So let's say, for example, you have a presentation on Microsoft, or you have a presentation on a whiteboard, or you have literally a document to follow on Notion, right? You just basically record you putting the key points on slides on a Notion or Google Doc framework, or a whiteboard sketch online that you can use with your mouse and whatever. People see the ideas, so it's visually engaging primarily. And if you decide to add yourself in the future, or maybe with current videos, you can put yourself in a little bubble if you're okay with being like slightly on camera, and that's cool. But overall, it's super less demanding in comparison. And if you don't want to put video, you can just narrate off camera and just add text captions in order to like literally give people an inkling as to what you're even talking about. Number 4 is essentially hands-on or over-the-shoulder content, which works depending on what your niche is, right? So you have to think of like literally a video shot of you drawing on an iPad, a video shot of you writing hooks in a notebook, a video shot of you editing a video, or a video shot of rearranging sticky notes. Essentially, the camera looks at your hands, your desk, your work, anything that has nothing to do with your face, okay? But it shows your body, maybe your arms, this, that, and the third, and maybe you don't take that into consideration in the video, but your hands are definitely the like main point of the video to show how you're basically doing this. A really great example is like a mechanic channel, right? It's like literally like if somebody's working on a piece of like an RC car or something, right? Like literally you just show the table, an overhead shot of the table, and your hands just working on it while you're talking to the camera. Does that make sense? Just make sure to add subtitles, or if you're not wanting to talk on camera, you can just add a voiceover. This essentially gives human presence to some degree without necessarily being on full selfie mode, okay? Next one is audio only plus caption videos. So it could be essentially a raw voice note being from the phone, the mic, etc. And then you just basically put an audiogram, essentially the WAV file happening on camera, literally in waveform, add big captions, and use a simple background or B-roll. I haven't seen YouTube videos like this do really well. However, I'm not going to say that there aren't, because there definitely are. The only thing is that this is great for strong opinions, rants, and storytelling, but I always like having some sort of visual concept in order so like people can literally be attentive in multiple different senses, right? And number 6, curated commentary without your face, using essentially clips, obviously under fair use. And if you don't know what that is, essentially using other people's content, but then transforming it so that way it becomes your own, plus commentary, right, with screenshots or headlines, like for example, the news, right? You can essentially add overlays or voiceover analysis and anything like that and that sort, where is that you could literally be talking about anything, especially with news. It's like, here's what this person did right or wrong, and what can you learn? And literally have this just literally post it up on the screenshot or whatever it is that like with it could be an article that you're showing them, this, that, and the third, or maybe even a clip or that's happening in real world, right? And number 7 is essentially using a VTuber or animating, right? So you've probably seen it like these, I don't know, like anime looking characters that are moving on video. You can essentially make your own VTuber now. So essentially just adding your voice to a character that basically talks about whatever. Like you don't even have to like make them like relevant to the topic. You could essentially just make a person with different skins, different outfits, this, that, and the third. And if you don't believe me, just put VTuber into YouTube and you can find whatever. Also, you can animate the stuff too. A lot of people that are animators don't like being on camera, so then they basically made a character which they animate, so that way they don't have to be on camera, but they still talk about all the stuff that they want. The beauty about animation or VTubers is you literally talk about anything and have no issue overall, but you have to make the VTuber animated or talking in the format in which that you do, because otherwise it would just look weird, or you have to spend time animating, which would take a really long time. Now, last and final one, which probably costs the most money, is essentially hiring talent, right? Number 8, hiring talent. Let's say, for example, you really want to talk about a specific topic, this, that, and the third, but you don't want to be on camera and you don't have time to basically make animations or essentially committing to the filming of the video, you can basically hire talent now. You can go on Fiverr, you can go on Upwork and be like, hey, this is a script that I basically need you to read in this format, in this tone of voice, and this, that, and the third, and I need you to make this video for me, and you're going to essentially make videos based on this topic for this specific channel, whether it be a YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, it doesn't matter. You can literally hire people now, which is kind of crazy. It's like the lengths that people will go to in order to not be on camera, okay? So those are the 8 ways basically on how to not be on camera. Now, let's say, for example, if you're getting into content creation and you're like, maybe I want to ease into the camera, but I don't necessarily want to be on little camera from the jump. And that's okay. Here's how you can ease into making content on camera, right? First, I would start with voice only. Reason why I say that is because you get used to hearing yourself. What does your voice sound like? And you focus on the clarity of the thought first rather than just the way that you look. Because it does take into consideration like the way that you look. I don't necessarily care. I just want to make sure that I have a haircut and my beard's lined up. But other than that, I just go for it. But you can literally start with voice and have no issue. Number 2, then add your partial presence. Whether if it's like you're making a video and you're talking about something in the educating format, you can put yourself in a little bubble on the bottom right side of the screen or bottom left side of the screen. So that way you can just basically make a Loom video and you're not so obsessed about how you look on camera and it doesn't really matter as much. Or you can make a video that's basically like the ones that I told you about with the RC mechanic, where there's this overhead video, you're basically working on the stuff, tinkering and stuff, and just doing hands-only shots, over-the-shoulder shots, or basically using your silhouette or blurred out shots, right? Then number 3, the third step, I guess, is essentially creating situations where you have low-stakes talking head videos, right? So, for example, let's say you make a video, right? Or you make multiple videos, let's say 5 to 10 videos, where you share it on your stories on your close friends on Instagram, right? So that means only like, 20 people see your like close stories video, and then the rest of your content is faceless? Or you can private your videos for essentially, I don't know, like for people who you actually want to watch your videos, being like your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your partner, your wife, your husband, your family, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you can get used to the fact that people are actually watching your stuff. You just got to send them the link when you're making them. Or you can basically unlist YouTube videos on long form, right? And just essentially just make them just for practice on your YouTube channel and then literally spread the links to anybody who basically has the link overall. You don't necessarily have to jump straight in front of the camera or be off camera or make daily vlogs. The point is that you're basically slowly widening your comfort zone so that way you can actually make the decision to finally come on camera, and you make that decision immediately rather than just like literally sitting there and then just succumbing to analysis paralysis, okay? So those are things that you can basically do in order to make sure that you're on camera on a consistent basis. Or if you don't want to be on camera, just be faceless and it's hard for you to be on camera. So then here's some little tools that you could use on a consistent basis. So if you decide to do those things, please let me know. Please let me know down in the comments what worked for you from this channel or this video overall. I would really love, and if there's any other questions that you have, leave them down in the comments. Otherwise, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel because I literally put videos every single day on basically content strategy, content planning, social media marketing, filmography, cinematography. So you could do those things for yourself, to develop a personal brand, or for your business in order to make money online. Also, if you want to make content, you don't want to be on camera, but you want to help other people get on camera, literally click the first link in the description. I have a coaching program and a community that you can literally check out in order to do that for yourself, to make a business that literally can make you 6 figures in less than a year. Otherwise, if you're like down with the videos, if you like the videos that I'm making, you can check out literally any of the videos that is like posted here on the screen, because don't stop watching now, so that way you can check that video out. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming to the end of the video. I will see you in the next one. Peace.